Welcome into a brand new episode of Tribal Council Chat. As always, we are your hosts. My name is Bruce Heller.
And my name's Brett Parnell.
And let's dive in. We have episode two
Yeah, let's get
of
let's
Survivor
get into
49.
Survivor. This is going to take about another hour out of the 7 hour wait we have left for the life of a showgirl.
Yeah, that's true.
I've just been watching the clock all day at work.
You're going to the movie, aren't you?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Okay. So, overall thoughts on the episode?
Overall thoughts on the episode. Okay, Kyle, your mom, you, my dad. Actually, my dad said he was not as low on her as most of you. Kevin, you guys were right. I was wrong. We didn't get a new incarnation of Julio Sue. We
Yeah.
got more like Lee.
Yeah, for sure.
And that wasn't great for my draft board.
It was, yeah, I was okay seeing her go. It was
Yeah, I
a
was too.
straightforward episode. There was
I
no
mean,
question on whether she was gonna go or not. You knew
yeah,
she
I
was.
want, for the draft purposes, I wanted for her to stay, but for just my enjoyment of the season as a Survivor fan, I'm like, if I have to give up Sue, give up Sue. I'm just talking about Sue. If I have to give up Annie off my draft team to keep Sophie, that's a trade I'll make 10 times out of 10 because Sophie, on the other hand, seems like a really entertaining player who's just stuck on a horrible tribe.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
we've seen those players go very far. Marianne, Jam Jam, Kenzie.
Yeah. And so, diving into the episode, and feel free to add stuff here and there. I may not have as many notes as normal. I was watching a live stream on Patreon of someone I follow that covers college football at the same time.
Oh,
So
nice.
it's we start though, and the Kella tribe is eating worms.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
A few just funny scenes in this episode. And
this was funny. I mean, I guess at some point they have to eat something, but normally we don't get this in Survivor. But I mean, I'll get into it later when we talk about the challenge, but normally you have fire by now.
yeah, well, they can't earn it. They
I
stink.
know. I'm
So,
going to talk about that when we get to the challenge.
yeah. And we also see a scene at Kella where Annie wants to maybe get rid of Jake, she's telling us.
Yeah, that's just stupid.
Yeah, well, that's on par from what we see in her this episode. But
Yeah, exactly.
this is kind
Um,
of where we start to see that she thinks she's in charge.
yeah, very much so. She definitely was giving herself way too much credit going forward, not reading the room or the beach at all. And in contrast, was just totally clueless in what the actual dynamics of the tribe were, solely because everybody was telling her yes. And speaking of last week, when we were talking to AJ, yeah, I've done that kind of thing before playing an online game, but an online game of Survivor is very different than the real thing where you can't see people's body language. It was obvious that none of them were buying it, that Annie was actually in the power position and that Jake was on the outs.
And she had no idea she was the other person being considered last week.
Yeah. And you have to know that if everybody is telling you, yeah, sure, whatever you want, odds are they're not telling everybody else that when you're not around.
Yeah. Do you have any other Kella notes before we switch tribes?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we go to Uli, and keeping the fun nature scene thing going, Uli gets a crab.
Yes. And notably, it's Savannah, the player who's going to be on season 50, who gets a crab.
Wait, she invented time travel. She's going back to compete on 40? Wow.
No, she's not going back to compete on 40.
Well, you said 40. I'm just.
I was I may have brought up 40 just a few minutes ago on another podcast, and
Oh,
now my mind is blending them.
was that talking about 40 on that show or referencing Survivor 40?
Both at different points.
Oh, okay.
It was we were talking about 40 on that show, but also referencing a player who was on 40 of both seasons. Because when does TT and I podcasting together not mention Michelle in some way?
When she's not on the current challenge season. What? How does that come up this
Watch
time?
the challenge, you'll find out.
Okay.
There's another player reenacts a iconic Michelle scene from Michelle's rookie challenge season.
Okay. Oh, do they flip off the camera?
Twice, yeah.
Okay.
And it's someone who I think could be a very close ally of Michelle in maybe 42 or 43.
That makes sense. And so we also see after the crab, we see Rizzo and Nate bonding a bit, which is good for both of them.
Yeah, that is good for both of them. They've really cemented a tight four on this beach. Like they say, though, that does push Jawan and Sage a little onto the outside. So we'll see if that continues. But do we, in any way, realistically, not think that all six of these people will get to merge? If they don't swap, I don't think so.
Unless they do a double tribal pre-merge.
I guess technically, I think blue and yellow would lose if they did that. But who knows
Well,
what the
Yellow
challenge
finished first place this week, which
this
we'll
week
get
they
into
did.
how insane that was.
Oh, that was crazy. I still think Red is the stronger tribe.
I agree, but tribes not losing anything pre-merge is just rare.
Yeah.
But moving forward to Hina, we see Steven bonding with Matt and Christine, like walking through the woods.
We do.
And then they want MC to join, but MC tells us that she doesn't fully trust Matt.
Which is interesting. I mean, why would you not, like we just talked about how at Uli, how powerful a four is. When would you say no to a four in the pre-merge game? That doesn't sound like a good call to me.
It doesn't, but if you don't trust someone, I can see not wanting to align yourself and be locked in to that group.
I can see not wanting to align yourself with them, but if it's playing 3 to 4 instead of 4 to 3, or sorry, instead of 2 to 3, you don't have much of a choice.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Because do you want to be forced to go to rocks at maybe your only vote pre-merge?
I'm just curious why she's so hesitant to trust him. I don't think he's given us a ton of reason not to.
Yeah.
It must just be like a vibe thing, just feel it in your gut.
We didn't talk about it, but we've always brought up previously a vibe tribe. That's clearly Uli on this season when they were cooking the crab.
Yeah, but Savannah doesn't want to be a vibe tribe, so.
No, Savannah wants to be Russell Hance, and that's probably why she's on 50.
And so, yes, we have someone that has referenced wanting to be Russell before and is not the one that is actively hiding things on their side.
Yeah.
Which happened again this week, by the way.
It did happen again.
And we'll get to that shortly. And that's actually my next note. So we moved from Hina to Kella.
Yep.
And I have a note here. Shoe Bandit is at it again. Who's
yes, he is.
hiding?
Annie's.
Okay. This is where like my focus was a little not entirely there.
And this is when what's his name?
Alex?
No. Jake. So Jake is hiding Annie's shoes once he got word from Sophie that Sophie is trying to take, or that Annie is trying to take him out.
Okay.
Which made perfect sense.
I like what AJ said, that I'm kind of hoping Jake hides one of his own shoes at a certain point just to cover his
That would be like common sense for next week.
Yeah.
It
I
would
mean,
sure
there's
get
only so
everybody
many
talking.
people.
There's 6 of them. There's probably 6 votes until the merge. One of them has a very good chance of ending up like Stephanie LaGrossa.
Eh, I think one of the other tribes will go at some point.
I'm sure at some point they will, but we'll get into that when we get to the challenge. I have thoughts.
Okay. So, yeah, and this is where we see Jeremiah tells us that Annie feels like she's in charge, but she isn't. And she isn't reading the room very well and is just dictating. And also, she's drinking all the coconut juice,
And is telling them which coconuts to pick.
which is just crazy.
That
It's
is just,
next level bossy.
yeah. Which it was at this point that I drew that room comparison instead of Sue.
And then she also is kind of possibly wanting to throw Alex under the bus, who's the only person that's shown any interest in wanting to work with her.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, not great.
No, I don't think she has a clue how to play this game. I'm sure she's a fan of this game. I'm sure she's watched this game, but Annie seems to really be struggling with translating it from television to real life.
Yeah. And so, moving back to Uli, we have Sage talking about being the Easter Bunny. And just every time she's talking, it gets more random every time, and it's hilarious at this point.
Yeah.
And this next note here is just a wild scene. So we have Jawan walking through the woods carrying this giant bag, and we see Savannah is suspicious that he's carrying it around because if he finds an idol, he could easily just put it in there and no one would know. And then both of them later find out it wasn't his bag, it was hers.
Yeah, I was confused at first. I guess I didn't realize that all of them had a bag that was this large. At first, I thought when I saw them moving between different bags that I thought it might be some sort of advantage in the game when I saw the tribe symbols on there. But no,
No.
it turned out that whether it be on Uli or be on Kelly, that all of these big bags around just belong to the players. But yeah, huge mess up from Jawan. Um, you might want to look into that. Look at the contents of a bag quickly before you pick it up and walk away. I don't know. I don't think the ants thing matters that much. If Savannah really is afraid of ants, then Survivor is not the show for her, and she's clearly playing it twice.
Well,
So
Sari
she
didn't
must
like
be.
leaves, so
Yeah, but Sui got over her fear of leaves, just like I presume that Savannah will get over her fear of ants pretty quickly.
yeah, I'd be taked if I was her though.
Oh, so would I. But this is what I'm getting at: is she has every reason to be ticked about it. But to me, I think the bigger question is if somebody uses somebody else's bag to conduct camp duties. We've seen so many incidents in this show where touching someone else's bag becomes a point of controversy that you can assume that your bag's being searched.
Yeah, I've
And
never
that is to me where I would instantly have my mind go.
I've never been a fan of just the like going through someone else's stuff, but I get it.
I'm not either, but in a scenario like this, when somebody takes your bag and totally walks off, you can assume that it happened, even if it's not great
Yeah.
TV.
Was he just using it to like carry wood or what?
That's right.
Okay.
He was putting sticks inside of Savannah's bag to carry them back to camp.
And he thought he had his own. Okay.
That's right.
Plot twist. There is only one big bag. It's a luxury item. Survivor brought back the concept of luxury items without telling us.
The last time we saw luxury items was when? Do
I
you
don't
remember?
know. I always think of the Texas flag that they use as a tarp when it comes to luxury items.
It was the reward challenge for second place in Survivor Korong. I think episode 4 or something.
Jeez, I mean it's co-wrong, so that's not as surprising. But that you can just pull that off the top of your head is awesome.
The first place tribe got to choose which reward they wanted, and they got like actual camp supplies. And then the second place tribe got what was left, which was the luxury item choice from home.
Nice. So at least back as recent as 32, they still they still
They
had to
still
choose.
told them to bring a luxury item.
See, I hear luxury items. I think of the Texas flag. I think
Yeah,
of the Magic 8 Ball that gets incinerated. Well, not incinerated, but kind of
yeah,
melted.
pretty
Like
much.
the classic ones like that. So
I think of Rob Zabotnik's skateboard.
I forgot about that.
Who was it? Didn't somebody bring a golf club on Borneo or something?
I don't know,
I
but
think so.
the Texas flag, I feel like they wouldn't allow that after that season because of how they
Oh
used
yeah,
the tarp
no.
for the shelter. Which, how do you not realize that's what they're gonna do with it?
I think they assume that even if they do, they didn't know that Colby would make it with like military flag type material that it would be so heavy duty it would actually work. If you took like some souvenir flags I've bought around the world and put them up above your shelter, they would just leak in a minute.
Which would still be better than having nothing above you. But
Until they just rip.
yeah,
And then they're not worth anything. So
I bought a Canadian flag one time.
did you? Nice.
One of my he's one of my best friends now, but my senior year of college, there was this guy on my floor who I was a good friend with, and he's from Michigan. And we would
Mm.
jokingly, because Michigan's pretty far north, we would jokingly tell him he's from Canada, and he'd act all annoyed that we were getting it wrong. So I bought a
That's
Canadian
funny.
flag to hang up in his room at some point.
Speaking of Michigan being far north, do you want to hear a fun Canadian piece of Canadian trivia
Yes,
before we
always.
continue? Windsor, Ontario is the city that you cross the border from in to get to Detroit.
Yeah.
It's the only place along a like 6,000 kilometer, I guess that's like 4,000 mile border, where you are south in Canada going north into the US.
Yeah. We're farther north than you.
In
Woohoo!
a lot in a lot of parts you are like, me being in Ottawa, I'm at like the same latitude as like Oregon,
Wow. That's crazy.
because Ontario dips south and then goes up north. So like the furthest southern point of Ontario, which is Pelee Island, is the same latitude as San Francisco.
Yeah.
But back to Survivor.
Yeah.
Where are we going next?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Okay.
Next up, we have a journey for the first time this season.
I mean, it's only episode 2, but yes, for the first time.
And we have Jawan, Jake, and Matt go on the journey.
This was a fun one.
It was. And the way this works is you're shooting coconuts, and I wrote shooting. They were like tossing them underhanded.
There was no randomness to it at all. It was strictly athletic and strategic.
Yeah, you're shooting coconuts into a hanging basket, and when it gets too heavy, it falls to the ground. And the person with the last basket standing that hasn't fallen yet wins.
Yep.
So this whole challenge is just them throwing coconuts into a basket, basically.
I like this. It really changed up the journeys from past seasons, and I hope we kind of this becomes a staple of season 49. Is that the journeys see the players competing against each other as opposed to taking different paths on the trail and competing on their own.
My favorite part is that the two losing players just return to camp and don't lose anything.
Yeah, same.
That's new.
Is Jeff finally figuring out that we in the audience don't like seeing people lose their votes every single week?
I don't know. I think he just thinks he has new ideas.
I mean, he's doing what we're asking him to do.
Yeah.
I don't mind having the advantages if we're not seeing people forcibly punished for things that they cannot change.
That's true. And so Jawan ends up winning, and he gets a choice: help yourself or help your tribe. You either get what I believe was an extra vote,
It
or
was
you
a
get
steal a vote.
steal a vote.
He
Okay.
would have either decided if he wanted to steal Matt's vote or Jake's vote at the next tribal council and get an extra vote for himself in their place.
Okay.
So it's not that he steals it at the same tribal council, but effectively he would be taking a vote away from someone else and getting an extra vote at the same time.
I bet that's why they didn't automatically lose their vote because he had
Yeah,
the choice
that's
to take.
exactly it. That
Okay.
would make sense.
Or he could give another tribe a disadvantage at the immunity challenge. And I
Which
like the
therefore
concept.
advantages his own tribe.
Do what?
Which therefore advantages his own tribe.
Yeah. But it's not like his tribe getting a head start or anything. It's someone
Right.
else getting what seemed like a pretty huge disadvantage when Probst described it. But
That didn't play out to be such.
I like giving him this choice here.
Yeah, same.
And where would you go here?
This early in the game, absolutely the help you tribe.
Yeah.
Solely because I think it gives you a chance at the most valuable thing you can get in this game, which is immunity.
Yeah.
Immunity is more valuable than having an extra vote that you may or may not play correctly. When notably, I'm thinking of Ty, but there's been a lot of cases. People just never play extra votes correctly in this show. Um, at least for the vast majority of occurrences that they've had.
Yeah. I bet Mark the Chicken would have played his extra vote correctly.
I
So
bet Mark the Chicken got eaten about 5 minutes after I had to let him go.
Mark the Chicken made it all the way to final tribal without receiving a single vote.
I will be in Korong in a few months. Maybe I'll find Mark the Chicken still alive outside my hotel room.
If you see any chicken, just take a picture of it and say you found Mark in Survivor Fan Jury.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be actually Mark. Just tell people it is.
And if not, I'll order some fried chicken and tell the Survivor fan jury I found Mark.
Well, that's a lot darker. Wow. Okay, I'm writing that down for a TikTok clip.
But
That's
yeah, I definitely think Jawan made the right decision here
he
to
did
advantage
it.
his tribe. You don't want to be advantaging yourself at the expense of your tribe this early on. If it was like episode 6 and the same thing happened, and we know the merge vote is next week, where they're probably splitting you into two different tribes and forcing two people to be voted out at the merge, I'm definitely going with the help yourself.
I wouldn't say he would have been helping himself at the expense of his tribe, though. It's not like they get disadvantaged in the challenge
No, I know.
by him not doing it. It's just that he easily could have chosen that and told no one and
Fair.
gotten away with it. But yeah,
But they
and
instantly
also
the tribe would have been like what happened at the journey, and then you're kind of screwed,
just tell him you lost, and then
I guess.
yeah,
And then they never believe you and vote you out. So
yeah. Well, the people that actually did lose the challenge and didn't lose anything, I'm thinking, man, is anybody going to believe them when they get back?
yeah.
But I also would choose to help your tribe, also for the reason of it makes you look selfless. It gives you brownie points and social capital with the people on your tribe
Yeah.
and helps you earn credit. And so this is where Savannah says Jawan may have just earned himself several more days in the game, speaking of earning credit. And I love her confessionals that she's acting like she decides how long everyone stays around. That's hilarious to me.
Yeah. You can tell, like I've said before about Russell and about Aubrey, they already know to edit Savannah in a way to build her for a future game.
Yeah.
She is getting so much airtime compared to everybody else. And I mean, she has the skills for television, obviously. She puts that on full display this week that she has a TV background and is therefore going to get more confessionals. She's just skilled in front of a camera. But at the same time, I'm assuming that when this season's done, Savannah will not only get the most confessionals if she stays around long, but probably get the most confessionals by double, win or lose.
I just I want to take credit that I from the EW stuff liked her and wanted to pick her first as my winner pick before I recorded the draft and you guys told me she was one of the returnees.
I'm just still shocked that you didn't know who was returning.
I knew Rizzo was.
Uh,
I don't really follow spoiler accounts, so
I don't either. It was just all over like other podcasts and stuff, like what Phil was talking about them for weeks. And
yeah. I knew Rizzo was, but that's all I knew. So I'm taking credit
nice.
for liking Savannah. Moving back to Kella, though, Sophie B is working hard to make sure Annie doesn't know she's on the block. And we get a more interesting quote from Sophie where she says her and Jake are running the tribe, but she's a bit worried about Jake's bromance with Alex.
Yeah.
Which I thought was interesting.
I would see worrying about this to a point, but at the same time, if you're Sophie, you know you kind of need them to have any shot. You can't just go into a challenge with Jeremiah and Annie, even though the numbers would dictate that it would get you a little further in the game. I think if you're Sophie, you've just got to hope that you can offer more than Jeremiah or than Annie, and therefore, even though there's 3 seats at the end, and there's a lot of game to play post merge.
Yeah, there is.
If it was a old season where we had a final 2, it would give me a lot more discomfort to play that strategy, but I think you can do it here very easily.
Who do you think Jake's number one actually is if he had to pick between them?
Alex.
Oh. I could see it going either way.
Mm.
But going into the challenge, the way it works is you have to dig up a ladder and use that to climb up and get a key that you then unlock and untie a rope gate and then go up a big ramp where you have to get everyone up the big ramp where 2 tribe members will then solve a big puzzle.
Yeah.
And Joanne assigns his disadvantage to Hina.
He does.
Disadvantage, when Probst said it, I thought, geez, that is a lot.
Same.
Everyone has to have 20 pounds of coconuts on their back each.
And just 2 seconds. I just dropped something, but keep talking.
On top of that, they have to get 10 keys instead of 1 key to unlock the rope gate.
Yeah, that sounded like a huge disadvantage. Who knows how much it really was, as to whether they could have finished by flying colors, or if they didn't have the disadvantage, or maybe it just wasn't as much as it sounded like Jeff's describing. I would be inclined to bet on the second option solely because they had to have tested this over and over with the Dream Team, and they would have had to know that we're giving them a disadvantage that is disadvantageous but doesn't just throw them out of the challenge. Yeah. I'm sure that's kind of the pretext that they work along when they're deciding how these sorts of advantages will play into the game. As per the challenge, though, yeah, I do think it was a fun challenge to watch. Do you have any thoughts on the actual challenge before we talk about the results?
I was just in Hina.
I have one thing I want to ask you too, but go ahead.
Hina ends up winning, which is just insane because when Probst described what the advantage was. I thought it was disproportionate. I thought you're completely throwing them out of it at this point.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. What I was gonna say is, what did you think of Jawan's strategy? Because my dad and I had a debate on this. I think that he made the correct choice to try to get his two opponents down to 5-5. In contrast, Steve was saying that you put it on the tribe that's already lost and just try to keep knocking them down even further.
I could see it going either way. I don't really think one makes more sense to me than the other.
But
I think I could see just knocking people out, making sure, like, just survival mode, making sure it's not you. Throw it on the tribe that's already struggling.
yeah,
But also, if you have a tribe like that, like a Tika from 44, or like, I forget their name, but the purple tribe from 46. If you have a tribe like that that just keeps going and they go into the merge with three people, those three people are kind of in the power spot because the two big
that's right.
tribes are going to point all their guns at each other.
Exactly.
So maybe the 5-5 might make sense in that scenario. So you don't have a group of like three people.
I think the 5-5 makes perfect sense because, especially in this era of the game, um, in my opinion, it just gives the tribe that lost first, if it plays out the way you think it will, the chance to catch up a little bit. But it also means that both tribes have had that disadvantage,
Yeah,
and that your tribe is basically guaranteed to be living better than anyone else in the game.
yeah, I'd agree. And Yanu was the purple tribe on 46, by the way.
Yeah,
And so I like that. Hino wins. Uli finishes second. And right after this, I wrote Annie is cooked, right?
yeah.
And so we have Alex finds a cannonball back
Well,
at camp, though.
before we get back to camp, I want to bring up something about the challenge, if you don't
Okay.
mind. Um, Here's my take on the challenge, because I think a lot of people today are talking about the idea of disaster tribes, and we seem to see them a lot lately. I think in 40, so going back to Survivor 41, there was a lot of controversy about 26 days and people saying, oh, it's easy. And Jeff seemed to have to say whether it's true or not. I know everybody listening is going to have their own opinion on this. Jeff really wanted to present the argument of it might be shorter, but the new game is harder. It's faster. It's more difficult to live in the elements. There's this monster idea that's coming to get you all. Personally, at this point, I think it almost feels very gimmicky. And I'm just ready to get rid of the lose your flint if you lose a challenge. I think all it does is make it that you lost one challenge, so you're therefore doomed to lose 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
It makes it more likely that you'll lose, keep losing, but I don't think it guarantees it. I mean,
I think the fact that you have no heat means it almost guarantees it.
but we've had new era seasons that haven't had one specific disaster tribe, though, too.
Yeah,
Like, let me pull this up. I don't
but I
remember
mean, we're
there being one
already in an
last.
era where production is just choosing the tribes to begin with, and that might make a tribe less advantageous at no element of the players. Now we're adding this into it. I think they just need to give it up.
Yeah, I've never liked it, so I'm okay with that. But I don't think it's necessarily guaranteeing these tribes lose. I think it's just a mental thing.
Fair.
I think they just get into this mindset of we don't have this, so we can't compete. But we've seen tribes lose that first challenge and not have that for a few days and then go win it later.
Oh yeah, of course. I'm not saying you can't. It's just I don't. I think now we don't need this as a justification for 26 days. It doesn't matter in the survivor community if you're a new era player or if you're Eliza or Russell. Everyone has their mind made up. It's not going to. The No one's opinions on the 26-day game is going to change. The 26-day game itself is not going to change. There's no need to be trying to make it seem harder than it is just to disadvantage one tribe.
Yeah. Don't. It's still not as bad as Survivor 14, when the
Yeah,
whole twist of the game is, hey, one tribe has a has every disadvantage, and the other tribe has every single advantage. Let's
that
see
was
what happens.
ridiculous. I mean, that is my second least favorite season.
I
So
thought it was your least favorite.
Nicaragua is my least favorite.
I had those backwards. Okay.
Mm.
I thought Nicaragua was second, and no, but I'm gonna
I
go
mean,
down
they
the.
change all the time. Every time I watch one of the two, I think this is my least favorite. So
I
you're
am
probably
gonna
right.
go down a rabbit hole here on
The
Survivor.
one good, the one good thing about Nicaragua that has it going for it is just watching Fabio gets my attention off of how bad the season actually is.
Also, Brenda.
Yeah, but mostly Fabio is just hilarious.
And who could forget the ever so useful and not useless at all Medallion of Power? Sarcasm for those that can't tell. The Medallion of Power was basically useless.
The other funny thing is when it comes to Nicaragua is that my parents have been watching the Cowboys documentary lately on Netflix,
Huh.
only for me to just walk by, see Jimmy Johnson as a young man on the TV and go, that guy was on Survivor Nicaragua.
Yeah. I will go down a bit of a Fiji rabbit hole here, though. And who on production thought a good season theme would be, hey, let's give one tribe nothing and give the other tribe everything and see what happens? Why
Yeah,
do
it
we
makes
need
no
to see what
sense.
happens? Everyone knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst like twists or season themes ever. The haves versus have-nots is wild to me.
Yeah.
But going back to camp, Alex finds a cannonball on the ground that's connected to this chain that gives us some good content. And this gives him the chance to find an idol. But if he doesn't find it by the time they go to tribal, then it's dead and he can't participate at that night's tribal.
Yeah.
And so him and Sophie and Jake, they're looking for it. Sophie finds the box it's in, but covers it back up so that Alex doesn't find it because she's hoping she can get the key and come back later before tribal and have it for herself,
Yeah.
which is really smart. It doesn't pan out that way. Alex ends up finding the box and gets the idol. And Sophie says, this is bad for me because I'm not Alex's number one. Jake is. And
It
I
was
feel
a
like,
really smart move from Sophie to try at least, even though it didn't pan out.
yeah. And I feel like Jake is playing a game where, and I'm not comparing these two as people or as players at all, but we just finished watching our first Big Brother season.
Yeah.
And you had Vince on there, who for most of the season had two different people that he kept referring to as, referring to both of them as his number ones. And was like both of them were ride or dies for him.
Yeah.
I feel like Jake
Not a
has two number
smart
ones here.
strategic game.
What?
That I said that was not a smart strategic game for Vince, and it could come back to harm Jake if he can't make up his mind quickly, especially if they get down to 3 or 4.
I don't think he has to make up his mind yet, though. Vince played it horribly, and I'm not comparing Vince to Jake because of that. But having like two people that are both, because both of them would say he's their number one.
Yeah.
And so that's a good position for him. I don't think he has to choose between them anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, this tribe could be next to nothing anytime soon.
Vince ended up, he should have chosen sooner, and the two of them started pointing, like going after each other, and they both
Yeah.
wanted him to take their side, and he tried to not choose still. That's what got him caught up. But
Exactly.
yeah, Vince's like social game and damage control is we could do a whole other conversation about that.
We can do
But
that with Kyle if we ever wanted to.
oh my god. That guy's great TV. I don't know how he made it as far as he did.
I have no clue.
But back on the show we're actually talking about, Jeremiah is telling us he doesn't trust the alliance of four he's in. That's him and Jake and Sophie and Alex, because he's always the last person to find out stuff, which is kind of an interesting note to me.
Yeah, that is a good point though. When you notice it, that like if you're Jeremiah and you're finding out, hey, these three are telling me that they have a clue for an idol because they can't find it, but they've all known about it for 2 or 3 hours. That you got to be wondering, can I trust this group? But then at the same time, you now have 5, you don't have 6 because Nicole's gone. So you don't have much of a choice.
Yeah. So going into Tribal, Alex tells us they kind of made it think like, oh, I might play my idol for Annie tonight. I never thought he was going to actually do that for half a second. There was no
Yeah,
chance.
I didn't think so at all. I thought that was just a way of trying, at least entertaining the option of Alex trying to tell the camera, I'm going to decide what's in the best interest of me and not in the best interest of anybody else that's playing.
And so they're kind of playing up this dilemma that they want us to think he has. And going into Tribal, Alex tells us how his job has prepared us for this situation. Exactly, almost. And it's only the second episode, but I think we should have a jar that we put $1 in every time Alex references that his job has prepared him for Survivor in some way.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he did it a couple times last week, and he's already doing it again this week.
Who has mentioned that Alex's job prepares him more for Survivor? Alex on Survivor or Bruce on this podcast?
That was me when I drafted him.
I know,
I
I'm just
feel like
joking.
he's saying it a lot. Maybe that's
Yeah.
just me.
No, he is saying it a lot.
It's not, I mean, he's not wrong. I fully agree with what he's saying. It's just funny.
Yeah.
So going into, I only have one note from Tribal, and that is that Annie says trust doesn't exist in this game. As Jeff starts to comment back on that, Sophie speaks up that she disagrees with Annie, that you need to trust people to move forward. I'm curious where you stand on this.
You absolutely do. I think both of them can be to an extent right and to an extent wrong at the same time. If you don't trust anybody in the game, you're going to quickly be on the social outsides of the tribe. It's that simple.
Yeah.
But so in that case, Sophie's right. But if you put too much trust into people that you never think that they're playing the game anymore, and TT and I just talked about this in a segment about how Survivor is different than the challenge, notably in regards to one of your favorite players.
Yeah.
So in this game, building relationships aren't necessarily meant to last long term.
Yeah, that's fair. So I agree. I agree with you, and I agree with Sophie. Like, you have to be able to trust people and work with them to move forward. If you go out there with this trust, you shouldn't just trust everyone, like trust the same way you would in the real world. But if you come at it with Annie's idea of trust doesn't exist in the game, look how
That's
that
right.
worked out for her. She went home second and has no allies.
Exactly. So, and that's never really worked for anybody.
Yeah. Okay.
There's even been people who have said trust nobody in the game, but have still trusted people in the game, even if they didn't claim they didn't. Rich trusted Rudy and no one else. Rob trusted Amber and no one else.
Yeah. and Annie does of course end up going home, and in her exit confessional, she was shocked by it, but she took it well. Credit to her. She said, like, this is why I love this game. I thought I was in charge calling the shots and I was at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, do we want to align blindside first boot? Do you want to go first or do you want me to?
Sure, I'll go. If you have three players, you go, because I'll quickly look up a list.
I'll go. So, here we go. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
From Survivor Africa, Linda Spencer. From Survivor Token Chains, Spencer Doom. And from Kagion and Second Chances, Spencer Bledsoe, also known as Raymond now.
Interesting. So Spencer Bledsoe, Spencer Dune, and who?
Linda Spencer.
When this I think I know where you're getting this from. I mentioned my friend Spencer who's been calling me through this whole episode.
Oh, is he calling you through the? I came up with that before we hit record because you were telling him to not call that we were about
Yeah,
to
he's called 3 times.
Did
I
you
am
see your
going.
message telling him not to do that?
Yeah, he just doesn't care. I am going to align with Spencer Dune from Token Teens. I'm going to blindside Spencer Bledsoe, and I'm going to first boot Linda Spencer.
Well, what if you have a blood drinking challenge? You can't
I
first
can do that.
before that. What?
I'd do that challenge and beat her at it.
Wasn't she the one that did like really good at the like?
Yeah, but I don't think that challenge would be that hard.
I think it's a mental thing. I think it grosses people out. I
My
wouldn't want to do it.
my uncle did it when he was a missionary in Africa to be respectful to his host.
Nice.
My uncle went to, I want to say, Niger with his church.
So, and I'm curious, and feel free to not answer if you don't want to ruffle his feathers. If your Spencer was one of these three, what if he's on the island? What are you doing?
I'm definitely not blindsiding. I'm either aligning with him because I'll get 7 votes at the end out of 7, or I'm first booting him because no one on the tribe would want to deal with certain things. But I can guarantee you one thing: my Spencer isn't able to pull a Sarah Lucina and hide any of his opinions.
I'm just imagining Survivor Twitter if he was on the show, honestly.
Let's put it this way: here's Anna Kate, here's
Yeah.
Spencer.
Yeah. And so, oh gosh, Survivor Twitter would burn to the ground. But yeah, so those are my three. Linda Spence. I guess I need to answer.
Yeah, you
I'm
do.
gonna align with Spencer Doom, and I'm gonna first boot Linda Spencer because I know the least about her game, and I'm gonna blindside Spencer slash Raymond Bledsoe and just hope he's not bitter. I could see him going either way on being a bitter juror and not.
Okay, interesting.
Could you?
Yeah, I could see that going either way. The names that I am going to give you, I'm just going through a list. Just a few seconds. You're going to get Don from 42. No, not from 42. Don from 26 and 20. What season? 21. Julie from 45 and Mad Dog from Australia.
Oh gosh. Who was it from Nicaragua?
Don Meehan.
Oh, South Pacific
Yeah,
in
South
26.
South. I was thinking of Kara Moen when I was thinking of her and Brenda.
Hmm.
But yeah, South Pacific.
I hmm. It's Dawn. I'm gonna align with Julie Alley for sure here. I don't want Mad Dog to be the first one booted out of her tribe again. So I'm gonna blindside her. Well, was she though? I don't think so.
No, second. Kel
Okay.
was on her track.
Yeah. And so I'm going to not. Well, I still don't want her to have to go home early again. So I'll blindside her and first boot Dawn.
Good
And
idea.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on that. All right. Well, that was a good episode. Anything else before we wrap up?
No.
Well, thanks everyone for listening. Check out Pit Stop Pals. Check out New Generation Challenge podcast. What I'm going to be looking into this week on seeing how I can get you and Kevin to watch Traders Canada, and if that happens, Roundtable Talk will be back in the next few weeks. BB Brains obviously just finished for the season, but thank you so much to Kyle for doing that show this season. We hope to have Kyle back for the next season of Big Brother next summer.
Definitely.
And also, we hope that Kyle will engage with us here on Tribal Council Chat here and there. And he's always a great guest on our show. And with that, grab your torches and head back to camp. We will see you in the Showgirl era tomorrow.
Yep. Bye, everyone.